What if I told you one of the biggest free agent signings in wrestling actually made the wrong move? When Jade Cargill walked away from AEW, many fans thought she was about to become WWE's next megastar. The presentation, the money, the mainstream exposure, everything looked perfect. But nearly 2 years later, was leaving AEW actually the biggest mistake of her career? Because in AEW, Jade wasn't just another wrestler. She was the attraction. She was undefeated. She was unstoppable. She was treated like a superstar mixed with a final boss. And fast forward to WWE, and somehow the same woman doesn't feel nearly as important. So today, we're breaking down exactly why Jade Cargill should have stayed in AEW, how WWE has struggled to consistently book her strengths, and why her aura isn't what it used to be. Let's get into it, man. Before anyone says AEW didn't know what they were doing with Jade Cargill, let's remember the facts. When Jade debuted in AEW, she immediately looked different. She wasn't presented as an underdog. She wasn't somebody climbing the ladder. She wasn't somebody's sidekick. She looked like money from day one. AEW built her around one simple idea: don't let her lose. And that strategy worked. Jade won match after match after match. The streak kept growing. 10-0, 20-0, 30-0, 40-0, and eventually 50-0. That's something fans don't forget. Then came the TBS Championship. Not only did she become champion, she held that title for an incredible 508 days. That's over a year of dominance. Every week, fans knew exactly what Jade represented: power, confidence, athleticism, and destruction. Even if some of her matches weren't technical masterpieces, her character never stopped feeling important. Presentation matters, and AEW understood that. Every entrance felt special. Every victory reinforced that she was a monster. That's how stars are created. But everything changed the moment she signed with WWE. When Jade signed with WWE, the hype was unbelievable. Many fans believed she was going straight to WrestleMania, straight to championships, straight into the main event scene. WWE even presented her like a celebrity. Huge entrances, special appearances, everyone was talking about Jade. Then, nothing happened. Weeks became months, months became even more waiting. Instead of immediately capitalizing on the momentum, WWE slowed everything down for some reason. Some fans defended the decision by saying she needed more training. That's understandable. But wrestling is also about momentum. Momentum doesn't wait forever. By the time Jade finally became a regular television presence, some of that excitement has cooled off. Instead of feeling like the biggest signing in years, she started feeling like another member of the roster. That's a dangerous place to be in. One of WWE's biggest mistakes was putting Jade into a tag team and faction dynamic. Now, don't misunderstand me. Tag teams have their place, but Jade's greatest strength has always been standing alone. In AEW, she didn't need anyone standing next to her. She was the attraction. She walked to the ring like she owned the company. Opponents looked intimidated. Fans expected domination. That's star power. But once WWE paired her with others, some of that individuality disappeared. Instead of feeling like the biggest woman on a roster, she became part of a group. And when you're part of a group, your spotlight naturally gets shared. For somebody with Jade's presence, that's the opposite of what should happen. She should be the center of attention, not one piece of a bigger picture. And that's where another major problem started. Consistency creates stars. Inconsistency creates frustration. That's exactly what happened with Jade. 1 month, she's presented like an unstoppable force. The next month, she barely feels like the priority. She gets one big win one week, then go weeks without meaningful progression. One major appearance, then suddenly, she's chasing something much lower on the card. Fans never know exactly where Jade stands. Compare that to AEW. Love AEW or hate AEW, you always knew where Jade stood, at the top. Everyone knew she was one of the company's biggest attractions. That clarity matters. In WWE, sometimes she feels one win away from the women's championship. Other times, she feels completely disconnected from the main event scene. That inconsistency hurts, especially for someone who depends so much on presentation. This might be the biggest difference between AEW and WWE. The aura. AEW protected Jade's aura. Almost everything she did felt important. She wasn't chasing secondary stories. She was the story. Today, it often feels like she's drifting between programs instead of being built as the centerpiece of the women's division. That's surprising considering everything she brings. She has the look, she has crossover appeal. She looks like a champion before she even steps into the ring. Those talents don't come around often, which is why fans expected WWE to build the division around her. Instead, her direction has often felt stop and start. That's not necessarily because of Jade, it's because the creative vision hasn't always felt consistent. Now, does this mean Jade can never become a huge star in WWE? Absolutely not. She's still incredibly talented. She still has one of the best presentation in wrestling. She still has time to become a dominant singles champion. But if we're comparing the two versions of Jade, it's hard to argue against what AEW accomplished. AEW created an undefeated force, a 508-day TBS champion, a woman with a 50-0 streak, someone who felt nearly unstoppable every week. That version of Jade felt larger than life. In WWE, we've seen flashes of that greatness, but we haven't consistently seen that same unstoppable monster. Instead of feeling inevitable, she often feels like she's waiting for the next big opportunity. Maybe WWE eventually gets it right. Maybe this is only the beginning, but right now, it's fair to ask whether leaving the company that built her into a superstar was the right move. But what do you guys think? Should Jade Cargill have stayed in AEW, or is WWE still the place for her long-term success? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss another wrestling breakdown. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.